wasn't perfect, yeah, I know that now. When it came crashing down, all I know is that I need you around. When it comes crashing down, all I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby, you can give me everything I want. Everything I want. You are all.
Hello, ladies. If you can hear the sound of my voice, please do drop a one in the chat. If you can hear the sound of my voice, drop one in the chat. I want to make sure you're with me. Because it's day two, y'all. It is day two. Day one is absolutely incredible. If you missed it, you definitely have time to watch the replays. We have a full hour of just registration and people getting oriented before the first session of the day officially starts in about 53 minutes. So definitely fill your cup in the replay area if you need to, okay? But I do want to hear from some people who were here yesterday, okay? I love to pull you on the stage and hear some of your reflections. I want to hear what you liked, what you surprised by. It could be about some things that happened outside of the session that you connected with other people. But if you are willing to share your experience yesterday, thank you, Alexis. I'm glad you hear me. Ashley is with me. I appreciate y'all for keeping me straight. Yes, Yvonne, I'm here. So raise your hand. Just hit the raise hand button under the screen if you'd like to share what you felt yesterday. I definitely saw some reflections in our Blaze Knowledge Academy community. People really did resonate with what they experienced and what they felt. But feel free to share on a broader scale. I see you, Ashley. I'm bringing you up, Mama Sita. When you come up, the mic is completely yours. I hope it works for you, Mama. I don't see you yet. Anybody else that wants to come to the stage, you absolutely can. Free space, okay? I see you now. What's up, girly?
Good morning. Good morning. It is early, so I'm not quite camera ready, but I just wanted to say how beautiful yesterday was. I'm an educator who, throughout the pandemic, has lost her way and had lost her focus. Yesterday really reignited me. It refueled my passion and my purpose, and I'm just so grateful for you in this organization.
Sis, Ashe, I appreciate you. And it really does resonate when you talk about the pandemic and being an educator. Like, one of our biggest clients today are in the education field because it was just so rattled and disrupted, man, by the pandemic and so much weight being put on teachers and educators and staff members and faculty who are already underappreciated. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back for sure. So I'm happy you are here. I'm happy that we could be a part of many solutions that you deserve, Ashley. Please keep rocking with us. And any feedback any of y'all have about how we can continue to make this better, definitely let us know. Love and light, Mama Sita.
To you.
Dope. If anybody else wants to share their reflections, this does not need to be perfect. You can literally have your scarf on. I know it's early morning time, and that's okay. But if you'd like to share your reflections, just hit the hand button under the screen. I'll bring you up. There are some people here right now who weren't here yesterday. Right now, they're gonna get theirs today. Every round goes higher every single time. We have 5 full days of this experience, but if you could just give them a glimpse, right, of what they're going to experience, what they're going to be immersed in today, I think it will definitely go a long way. All right, Alexis, I'm bringing you up, Mama Sita. The mic is yours.
Can
We
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Okay.
Yep. You.
So definitely the journaling session was amazing for me. I recently had a really bad, I guess, friendship breakup, and um I kind of saw the parallels to the issues that I have with my mom in that relationship and in that, breakup, and how I'm just highly sensitive to people that choose other people over me. Like it it was a lot. And just starting off, I wanted to make sure that I was in a good place mentally before I started putting my all in my business. And I'm glad that I have this platform to be able to do that, like decompress and really address areas in my life mentally that I hadn't really thought I needed to. So that was good.
Beautiful. You painted that picture perfectly, Alexis. Because it is scary, right? I think that's why we keep ourselves so busy, right? With doing and tasking to bury things. It is scary to sit down and unpack how a lot of what we do to others are the very things that we hated being done to ourselves. It's scary to think about how we're going to forgive ourselves. It's scary to think about how we're going to give ourselves grace, even while we're asking so many people for grace, right? And patience and acceptance and understanding. So I appreciate you for being honest enough and vocal enough to articulate what all of us felt yesterday. I'm sending you so much love and light, Mama, and I'm so happy you're part of this community. Thank you for being here. Dope, y'all. I'll keep watching the hand area. If anybody else wants to come up, we can have a third person come up and share their reflections. But for those who are new to the space, right, I want to help you get oriented, okay? Because as everybody that was here yesterday knows, this is your house. You should take up all of the space in here. I want you to be very, very, very comfortable. So I'm going to tell you about the functionality that is around here. You can play around with it during this hour because none of the sessions start until the top of the next hour. Okay. Number one, inside of the chat, there is a feed. Okay. And not only can you comment, you can reply to other people's messages directly inside of the chat. You can like messages. You can use GIFs. Yep. At the bottom left corner of your field where you can type messages, you can literally use GIFs. It's lit, okay? Yesterday we were showing out, especially during the DJ set. There will be another one today, okay? But that is there. Now, outside of the chat, inside of our session, there is a feed at the top right corner of your screen. And that feed can be seen by anybody anywhere in the platform. So let's say you go out to the lounge because you want to sit at table number 3 and chop it up with your new biz besties. You can do that, right? And if you want to communicate with everybody in the platform, just drop a message in the feed. You can say, hey, meet me at table number 3, right? Booth vendors, you'll see they really get it popping after the sessions end at 5 o'clock every single day of the summit. They're going to drop in announcements about them broadcasting live in their booth. They'll drop announcements about them playing music. New Heritage was actually playing 90s music yesterday, vibing over there, and she dropped that in the feed. Just go to the feed to communicate with people or find messages, right? Even outside of sessions. That is available to you 24/7. The summit does not close. I'm going to say that again. It does not close. If you scroll or stroll, you can scroll through comments or stroll in here at 3 a.m. Okay. It'll be here. Fully functional. It is yours. All right. Another announcement I want to make is about the leaderboard. Okay. So at the top right of your screen, there is a trophy. Okay. And people will get points based on their activities inside of this space, okay? And 15 people who are at the top of the leaderboard, we do this every single time. 15 winners for every single summit, okay, are announced on day 5, okay? And this time, the top 15 winners will get the first NFTs that Blaze ever mints. We're going to do a lot of minting of NFTs. Minting means creating something with a unique serial number. So people mint, governments mint pennies. Ours does. Quarters, etc., 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 etc. Right? We are minting our very first NFTs, and we are giving them to Blaze Virtual Summit top 15 winners for free. It is yours. Because we will. If we blow up in 5 years and you want to make a couple of stacks off of selling your NFT because it's a collectives item at that point, you absolutely can. We will not get any royalties or any of that other stuff. Okay. We're going to mint a lot of NFTs, but you all will be founding members of that NFT collection. So definitely rack up your points. I'm going to shout out the leaders right now. Okay, Tiffany. Okay, so we have Tiffany Brown as number 1 with 5,455 points. Now the gap is closing because Sharita has come all the way up from the bottom. She has 3,830 points. Winnie, come on, Winnie. Winnie is super dope, y'all. Connect with her in here. Winnie has 3,210 points. Alexis Miller is right behind. And then our girl Anika. Y'all gonna hear from Anika today. She's super, super dope. She has just under 3,000 points. And then she's followed by her twin, Anika Jones. Okay, Anika Leonard and Anika Jones are side by side. Super dope. Nicole Claire, Tiffany Blackstone. Tiffany has a booth out there. Y'all check her out. Yvonne Tate in number 9. And number 10 is Brianna Burton. Now, keep going. It's anybody's game. It's very, very early. So I will tell you how you accrue points. Okay? You accrue points by being active in here. Literally, no strings attached. I have nothing to do with it. This is called gamification. Okay? So you business owners, all of y'all, write that down. This is called gamification, where you incentivize the behaviors you want people to have by making it fun and exciting. Okay? So I am building leaders and accepting zero excuses, because I know when you pull up on somebody in their DMs, great things happen. I know that business deals are made over one-on-one conversations that were never meant to happen, and you write a deal on the back of a napkin, right? And so you get points for scheduling one-on-one meetings with your sister up in here. You can click somebody's picture, you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom meeting, or not even Zoom, a video meeting with them right inside of the platform. You get points for that. You get points for dropping in the chat for any session, and every single session. You get points for that. You get points for using reactions under the screen. Let me hit a heart. That one heart, I just clicked that, right? You get points for that. For reacting on the screen and gassing up the speakers, right? And affirming the speakers. And when somebody is crying or getting emotional, right? Cheering them on so they continue to tell their stories, because it's important. You get points for joining tables in the lounge and communing with folks. You get points for going inside of the booths. You get points for showing up and taking up space. Okay. And so gamification, write that vocabulary word down, founders. Okay. That is the way that businesses will win in the land of Web3. It is the way that businesses will win the favor of Gen Z, a new generation that wants to feel something, right? They're not going to do it because you told them to do it, so, right? So I am bidding good luck to everybody competing for the top 15 spots. Y'all are killing it, right? And it's still a very, very early game. All right. So those are the only housekeeping announcements I'll make right now. This is just the registration hour, okay? So we'll have some information that rolls this whole hour. It'll loop for you. You can hang out in the chat. You can go in the lounge. You can go to the booths if you want to. You can even schedule one-on-one meetings with each other inside of this platform. Literally click anybody's picture, right? And you will literally be able to schedule a meeting with them, and your videos will come up and y'all can get it popping. Ashley says, what was that keyword again? I love it. Folks paying attention. It is gamification. Gamification. Founders, I'm trying to tell you. Pay attention to this. Why should I pay attention to it, Casey? Because times change very, very quickly. Let's think about Blockbuster. Blockbuster thought they were 5-5, right? When they allowed people to rent movies, right, on VHS. And they allowed them to rent movies on DVD. They thought they were so fire that they thought they could stay still. Okay. Redbox came and made it more convenient for folks to grab a DVD on their way inside of a store doing something else. Blockbuster stayed the same. Blockbuster believed that folks were going to get in their car, drive to the parking lot, walk inside of the store, go to the aisles, pick a movie, go to the checkout, talk to the agent, right? Talk to the assistant, go back, and then do it all over again to bring the video back, right? Blockbuster did not move when Amazon started streaming. They didn't move, right? They didn't move when Netflix came along and started mailing the DVDs to households. Because they said, what if they don't want to get in the car, right? They stayed the same. Now, I don't have to tell you what happened to Blockbuster. They're not here anymore, okay? So I want you to follow the signs, right? Follow the trends, and the trends will always go in the direction of making folks feel good. That's just how it is, right? Like, that's why the DVDs started getting popping, because I didn't have to rewind my movie anymore, right? Anyway, more on that definitely this summer, but look it up, right? So that you can start thinking about the ways that you can engage your communities and your customers very, very easy. Gamification is super fire, okay? And that's all this leaderboard is, all right? Enough of that. I'm going to let y'all get back to it. I'm around if you need anything, so drop me some lines in the chat. People have been DMing me in the messages. I loved connecting with you. I mean that. So do not be shy. Take up all the space, and I'll let y'all get back to it. All right. Love and light.
My life wasn't perfect, yeah, I know that now. When it came crashing down, all I know is that I need you around. When it comes crashing down, all I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby, you can give me everything I want. Everything I want. You are all My life wasn't perfect, yeah, I know that now. When it came crashing down, all I know is that I need you around. When it comes crashing down, all I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby, you can give me everything I want. Everything I want. You are all. wasn't perfect, yeah, I know that now. When it came crashing down, all I know is that I need you around. When it comes crashing down, all I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby, you can give me everything I want. Everything I want. You are all
All right, ladies, in just 14 more minutes, we are starting with day one, the first session, which is weak ass advice from Shannon Coleman Siciliano. Okay, weak ass advice from Shannon Coleman Siciliano. And I want to tell you right now, those who were here yesterday, you already know it, but I want to tell you right now to give yourself grace, okay? We are intentionally unpacking a whole lot of things related to healing this week because it is necessary for our journey, okay? So whatever comes up, even if it's you feeling fatigued and not even knowing what to say, give yourself grace. If you feel like there's so much you want to let out and say to the speakers after sessions today, but you just can't find the words and you just want to show up and shed a tear or show up and breathe, it is okay. Do that. There is space for you here. It is safe here. But my ask for you is that you give yourself grace. For those who do not know, I am Casey Ariel Richardson, the founder of Blaze Group LLC. I am currently sitting in Tanzania on the continent of Africa because I want to. Okay. One thing that I chose for entrepreneurship for myself was living in freedom, uninhibited freedom, and believing that I was cold enough to design a business that lent itself to the lifestyle that I wanted, right? And so I live in Nairobi, Kenya. I just got to Tanzania about 3 weeks ago. I'm here for another 2 weeks. I'm headed to Bali after that. I'm going back to Kenya after that, right? I was in Cape Town, South Africa for all of 2021, okay? And that was a part of my healing journey. Things that I could not articulate to my friends who I left. Things that I could not articulate to my company when I left their company and just left the whole continent, right? Of North America to come over here to start a journey. And I am just now finding the words for everything I desired in that season of my life, right? I'm just now being able to utter the things that I've learned in this journey of being disconnected from everything that I've always known, right? And so over the course of these 5 days, I want you all to give yourself grace and space, okay? You do not need to be perfect to come on this stage and respond to the speakers. You do not need to have fully fleshed out thoughts to write in the chat, but process it, sis, okay? Even right now, I am so tired. That's the word. I am so tired after everything I wrote in that journaling session yesterday. I'm so tired because I thought about the people who hurt me in my life and how I show up in the same way in certain parts of my life. And I can't fully understand why. I'm tired because I thought about all of my fears and I articulated it for the first time on the stage last night when I talked about mental illness and my fear of having chronic mental illness like people in my family. I've always swallowed that, right? And struggled in silence, right? But I'm okay with that. I am okay with that, okay? So as you experience today, I want to tell you that there has to be space for your anger, sis. There has to be space for your discontentment. There has to be space for your joy and your triumph. There has to be space for complexities in your life. That is not separate from the founder journey, okay? So take up space, enjoy this. Just know that every single session will have a Q&A right after, okay? Right after Shannon's Blaze Talk on Weak Ass Advice, we're going to have Anika come up and give a workshop called, Oh, We Comfortable? After that, we're going to hear from the Dr. Tanisha King. Oh my goodness, she is prolific, and she is going to do a Blaze Talk called From Pain to Purpose. And then we're going to have DJ T.O. decompress us with a DJ set that we will absolutely need at that point before we approach the second half of the day. So thank you for sharing space. I'm going to read your comments. Winnie says, Casey, thank you so much for challenging me to choose the business model initially that will allow me to live the lifestyle I desire. Ashe. Finally made me sure of my decision. Ashe. Always lean into what feels good and lean away from the things that are painful. Literally, ain't no perfecting your weaknesses. For what? That's silly, right? Not that you're silly, but the people who taught you that. That's anchored in white supremacy, right? It's anchored in hustle culture. It's anchored in perfectionism and all of these things that are toxic to our lifestyles. You need to outsource your weaknesses and lean into your strengths so that you operate in your zone of genius. Ashe. I do have a quick request for y'all before we move over to the first session of the day, and that is, I'm going to put these on the stage. Answer the polls, right? So on the right side of the screen, there's a bar icon where you see bars on the chart, okay? Hit that symbol for me, and there's some polls that I'd love your feedback on. I'm going to show what the first one is. We're asking, we're saying we're offering awards in the upcoming summits to honor emerging and established founders. What are your favorite categories? Okay, so the options on one of them is Blogger of the Year, Coach of the Year, marketing firm of the year, branding firm of the year, DJ of the year, and virtual assistant of the year. So far, 15 people have voted. I appreciate you all. You can vote for multiple things, but this will literally give us insights into, what we decide to do. Another list of options are definitely do vote before we close out this session because I do care and you're going to see your input actually show up. Okay. This list is fashion designer of the year, influencer of the year. Oh, super dope. It has the most votes so far, tied with wellness practitioner of the year. We also have actress of the year. No votes on that. That's very good to know. Coder of the year and founder of the year on this list. So far on this particular list, the faves are influencer of the year and wellness practitioner of the year. Super dope. Super, super, super insightful. All right. And then there's one other listing. Okay. I'm going to read this one aloud. I'll show it on the stage. It is clothing brand of the year, skincare brand of the year, tech company of the year, which right now is in the lead. Yep. Interesting. Okay. Insightful. Oh, no, it's not. Podcast of the year is in the lead. Okay. Super, super dope. And y'all keep voting. Like it updates real time. Okay. I'm really right here. Hello. And for those of y'all who are listening on Twitter land, YouTube land, Facebook land, LinkedIn land, we love y'all. Twitch land. Some of y'all are watching from Twitch land. We love y'all, but y'all got to come inside of the club, okay, to interact. There's space for you here. Please do pull up, but come inside of the club so that you can interact. Absolutely free. And only when you register do you get the replays for 3 months. Solid. All right. Okay, this is really insightful. I wouldn't have guessed, right, that these things were in the league. Okay, so definitely do answer the poll, please, because your insights, your feedback will literally inform the way that we edify our community and honor our community, and we deserve. I mean, come on now, bump the list that don't include us. We can make our own. Okay. All right, so I appreciate all of y'all. What's up, Neff? Y'all, Neff is in the building. Let me tell y'all something. Now, listen, if you were here on day one, you already know. What's up, Dalen? Neff took it home yesterday, right? I just literally said, Neff, like, y'all, I'm tired from that journaling session, but it's good. It means that I finally set my behind down and anchored myself in it. And I have so much to process, right? And I'm not afraid of that. It took a journey to get here, right? Don't be afraid of pain, right? Your body is teaching and telling you something. Don't be afraid of healing. Don't be afraid of processing and complexity. Alicia said she loves the replays. Yeah, it's good, y'all. So I bid you adieu on this journey today. It's about to go even higher, okay? Just so you all know, for those of you who are for those of you who are juggling like your work day as well as this, just know, especially for those of y'all in corporate, okay, right after the DJ set, we have a panel discussion called Quiet Quitting and Black Women, huh? We have a session called Quiet Quitting and Black Women. So I would recommend that you pull up for that and get your strength, sis, and get your vocabulary for folks, sis, okay? We have Nicole Player talking about breaking the bias. Again, very, very relevant for all of us, but especially those, okay? Especially those who are navigating these spaces where we are often having to code switch, okay? Which you don't really have to do. And then Neff is going to close us off with another journal wind down session, appropriately called attachment, because we going there, because attachment is the vein of today. That's the vein we're in today. Every round will go higher. Every day will be different. Attachment is what we are unpacking at the end of today. So I'm gonna let the informational video roll, and then I will see you all at the top of the hour, okay? Over on the other side, where we're starting today with weak ass advice. Somebody had to say it, huh? It might as well be Shannon. Before I go, I'm gonna close the poll right now and just announce what these winners are, okay? Because I'm actually very, very interested. So let me close all three, and then I'll officially announce what won. Okay. So according to the tribe, the most desired awards are Podcast of the Year. Okay, got it. Tech Company of the Year, Skincare Brand of the Year. I'll go to the next one. Who won from this one? Wellness Practitioner of the Year. I agree. Founder of the Year. Did I not just say that? No, I didn't. Okay, Founder of the Year. I like that. And two more from this list. Coder of the Year. I agree. They're doing the Lord's work. Influencer of the Year. Ashe. Okay. And then from the third list, we have in the lead. Dang, this was basically tied across the board. So I'm gonna say all of them. Like the top one is Marketing Firm of the Year, but then it's literally 17% for the rest. So Blogger of the Year, Coach of the Year, Branding Firm of the Year, DJ of the Year didn't make it. Okay. And then Virtual Assistant of the Year. Yvonne, you kicked that off. Look, you manifested this. So okay, beautiful. So we will absolutely honor this feedback. And we look forward to getting that popping. All right. I will see y'all on the other side. I'll let the credits roll for a couple of more minutes. And then we are literally diving in. I am so excited. I hope you are too. All right, y'all. See you in a second.
All right, welcome to day 2 of the Blaze Virtual Summit. My name is Shannon, and I will get to my introduction in a bit. But before I dive in, let's just take care of a couple of things. See, I started my career off as a teacher. So while I'm here to inspire you and potentially give you a little nudge in the ass, I also am always teaching. So what that means is go ahead and grab your notebook, grab a pen, because I'm going to be dropping some nuggets and sharing some free resources with you that you definitely want to take advantage of. Also, let's not make this a drive-by relationship. So go ahead and follow me on IG. You can see my handle. I am Shannon CS, and that's Shannon with an EN. Follow me on IG, and also throughout our conversation now, let's actually make it a conversation. Join in on the chat because I will be live chatting. So if you like something, if you have an aha, even if you disagree, go ahead and post it in. Let's keep the conversation going. Because we really need to start talking about this weak ass advice that we have been following. See, as Black women, we've been given a lot, and we've also chosen to follow some weak ass advice. And this weak ass advice, it's gonna cost you. It costs you your energy, your confidence, your joy, and heck, it even costs you your money too, if we're really keeping it real. But the biggest factor that this weak ass advice has, the biggest cost, is you. It costs your light, your authenticity, your joy, your it factor. So let me explain. Many of us here likely started out or might even still have some sort of full-time or part-time position. You might even be running your own company. be your own boss. And yet you're still following this weak ass advice. And this advice has come from well-meaning coworkers, board members, maybe even family members and friends, and even from your own inner dialogue. It says, yeah, I see you grinding. I see you working hard. You're qualified, but you could still be better. You have some weaknesses, some imperfections that need improvement. Focus on improving those weaknesses. Did you just catch that? Focus on improving your weaknesses. That right there, that is some weak ass advice. And so, sis, I'm here to let you know that working on your weaknesses, focusing on your weaknesses is no longer your burden. It is time to focus on your strengths. And I'm not talking about the strong Black woman type of strength. We let that burden go a long time ago. What I am here to tell you is to focus on you, on your shine, your it factor, on your strengths. So let me go ahead and actually introduce myself. My name is Shannon Coleman Siciliano. I know that that's a mouthful, so you can just remember my name is Shannon, and it's Shannon with an E in. I live in Greater Chicago with my husband and my daughters. I'm originally from Southern California, I know, now living in Chicago. But because Southern California is in my blood, you can find me near large bodies of water, oftentimes in the sun. I know, not in Chicago during the winter time, but that's what it is. But you can find me in the sun, near water, and also on the dance floor, because if there's music, I am going to be dancing. I am the founder, CEO, and CHO, not the chief ho, but the chief hype officer of Begin Within. I hype up leaders of color, particularly Black women, to thrive in leadership and in life. I'm what you would call your not so typical executive coach. My career arc goes from classroom teacher to nonprofit management, community organizer and coalition builder, an executive director of a statewide campaign for education funding, and a consultant. In the course of my career, I've advocated for and won over $5 billion in education funding for state and local jurisdictions, primarily focused on urban education, because I believe that we need to support our kids. I've been featured in Black Enterprise on local and national newspapers, NPR, ABC Morning News, and I recently won the Peter Jennings Award for Civic Leadership. I am grateful for all of my experiences and achievements, and I am not disregarding any of those. I'm very proud of them. But I know that those came at a price. You see, I allowed the feedback of others to guide me, and also I allowed this weak ass advice to become my own self-talk. They began to determine who I was, what I stood for, and I just kept following more and more weak ass advice. But I felt justified in doing so because my work was in the spirit of community. See, I was continuously looking for gaps and holes and weaknesses within and doing everything that I could to fix them and fill them and level up. But the ultimate cost of doing that was that I ended up losing myself. So even with all of the success that was surrounding me, I felt lost. And I felt lost because, again, I had lost myself. So let me take you back to October 2014. See, up until that point, life had been a whirlwind. I was jumping from one action to another, and I had just come off of co-leading an exhilarating but exhausting multi-year campaign for $1 billion in school construction for Baltimore City schools. These schools hadn't been touched since the 1950s. Schools with broilers that didn't work, but yet they were full of passionate teachers and students who deserved way better. And along the way of that campaign, and even in other work that I was doing, I was told things like, you're too soft in meetings. You need to show up tougher, harder, put these politicians in their place, be angry. But y'all, I'm not an angry person. That doesn't come naturally. In fact, a strength of mine is relationship building. And that's what I was trying to do. but I was told that my way didn't fit the mold, the male mold, typically the white male mold. But I shifted and I tried to tweak myself. And then I jumped into motherhood for the first time. I really tried to soak in motherhood. And let's be real. Soaking in motherhood for someone like me, or maybe you and some of these overachievers out there, I know I'm not alone, right? But soaking in motherhood actually meant trying to enjoy all of the small moments while also thinking about, what am I not doing wrong? What can I do to level up? How can I do more? And this is all while barely sleeping, barely eating, hardly even showering. And so you start to see the parallels, right? What was happening in my professional world, I allowed to happen in my personal world. And then it also became the inner dialogue that I was having. I kept following weak ass advice. And now you layer on these parenting books who are telling me yet another area of weakness and another area of growth that I could have. And I just felt altogether that I wasn't adding up and I had lost my shine. And if you know, motherhood, especially for new mothers, can be a slap in the face of all the ways that you are inadequate and all the ways that you can focus on your weaknesses. So at this point, I had burdened myself with so much focus on lack, on my weaknesses, that I lost who I really was. So back to October 2014, I put my toddler to bed and I walked downstairs through a dark house. Now, it was dark and eerily silent because my husband was also on the road traveling. And I walked into our den, our dimly lit den. I sat in the corner of our couch and I was numb. Really, I was actually depressed, but didn't know it at the time. So what's the thing that you do when you're feeling completely numb? Well, I mind-numbingly reach for my phone to mind-numbingly scroll Facebook. So the only thing that is lighting up my face is the blue tinged light from the screen that was shining on my face. And I just scrolled. I scrolled, hit a like, scrolled some more, maybe rolled my eyes once or twice. You know how we do. Then I kept scrolling. And all of a sudden, my thumb stopped. My girlfriend had put a post that read, if you want to find balance in ambition and acceptance, if you seek authenticity and joy, please sign up for this mastermind program. Wait a second. Ambition, acceptance, authenticity, and joy, these were all things that I had lost at this point, especially my joy. I had lost my it factor. I had lost my shine and what made me me. And so those words on the screen, on the Facebook post, gave me the jolt that I needed to stop my thumb. And thank goodness I had enough sense to apply to this mastermind. And the reason why is because joining that mastermind planted the seed in me to become a coach, because I realized that coaching is a way to help others completely transform their lives and step back into their power. And so I entered coaching with you, with us, Black women in mind. See, we don't need to lose ourselves in the work. We don't need to lose ourselves in life. And we definitely don't need to keep following the weak ass advice of society or of well-meaning friends, colleagues, and family members who are focused on our deficits. And so I want to ensure that other Black women, that other leaders of color don't find themselves balled up on the corner of the couch feeling lost, because it's costing us. It's costing our health, our confidence, our joy, our money, and ourselves. As Black women, we can be bombarded with a whole bunch of weak ass advice that makes us feel like we are not good enough, like we need to constantly focus on areas of growth. See, here are some situations that I've seen play out with my clients when they choose to focus on weak ass advice and focus on their deficits and begin to dim their light. One was afraid to ask for a raise because she didn't feel quite ready. She believed that she needed to work on things and fix them just a little bit more. But in reality, sis was overqualified for the position that she had, and was worthy and deserving of a long overdue raise. Another was always prepping for presentations in front of VPs at her company, but she would feel defeated before even stepping into the room. It's like sis had lost before even starting, right? Because she was focused on what could go wrong, on what she still needed to improve. Another had a notebook full of unique, brilliant business ideas, but she kept enrolling in courses that would help her improve in areas that she's not quite good at yet. Well, sis is actually scared, but she's also lost her focus on her zone of genius, on her strengths, and on her brilliant ideas that are sitting in her notebook. Another had built a consulting practice, like already had her consulting practice on and going. But yet, the weak-ass advice that she received from her previous job was still filling her mind, was still consuming her energy. And so she doubted herself, and she considered going back to another 9-to-5 job, even though she really, really did not want to. You see, sis allowed the weak-ass advice from a previous job to live rent-free in her head and impact her confidence and her ability to run her own business. But let's not just talk about the anecdotes here. Let's actually look at the research, because the research shows it too, of why you should not be focusing on your weaknesses. Here's what happens when you actually focus on your weaknesses. One, you're exhausted, right? It's exhausting to continuously focus on things that you aren't quite good at yet. It also brings and adds more stress into your life. You feel inadequate, you have a lack of confidence, you're less fulfilled, and it is actually a waste of time. Like literally focusing on your weaknesses is a waste of time, because your weaknesses will never, ever become as strong as your strongest strength. And so let's let it go. Release those burdens. And the actual definition of a weakness is anything that gets in the way of your success. So if a weakness is anything that gets in the way of your success, why would we put our focus there? It makes no sense. I'm done talking about weaknesses, because focusing on your weaknesses is some weak ass advice. And go ahead, repeat it after me. Focusing on your weaknesses is some, yes, weak ass advice. And we're releasing that burden right here, right now. It is time to move on. So let's focus on your strengths. The research shows that when you focus on your strengths, when you focus on things that you do well, you are more confident, you are self-aware, you are productive, but not just productive for productivity's sake. You are productive with ease. And Black women, come on, we need more ease in our life. You're more fulfilled, it increases your energy, you're way more creative, and you find more satisfaction and alignment and purpose in your work. You're less stressed and you have more joy. Let's think about this. God, Goddess, the divine, the universe, however you look at it, you are giving your strengths for a reason. And now it's time to focus on them and use them. That is why I serve as a transformational coach for Black leaders, for Black women, and other leaders of color to thrive in leadership and life. One of the ways that I do this is to help you identify and then stop following weak-ass advice, to step into your power. And one of the methods that I use is what I call the know, flow, grow method. That's right, know, flow, and grow, which is all about your strengths. So let's start with know first. First, you have got to know your strengths. But the issue is that your strengths tend to be so embedded in you that you don't even know what they are. It's like second nature. And also you've forgotten about them because you are so focused elsewhere. You're focused on what isn't perfect, what isn't working. Again, sometimes your weaknesses, but again, those are no longer your burden. So let those go. So let's think about, how do you get to know your strengths? First, let's give yourself some time. I want you to take some time and actually reflect and think about what you love doing, what comes easy to you, and jot that down. How are you showing up in those moments? Jot it down. Second, those same well-meaning friends, colleagues, potentially family members, you're going to go ahead and ask them. But this time, you're going to ask them what they believe your superpower is. What's the thing that you do better than anyone else, or something that just comes naturally to you? When do you shine? Ask them for that. And then go ahead again and jot down and take in what they have to say. The other way is step 3, or option 3, is to actually take an assessment. And so you've likely heard of Clifton Strengths, but there are a few other free assessments out there. Remember, I told you to grab a notebook and a pen, so go ahead and jot this down. One test that you can take, free and out there, it's called the High Five test. Another one is called the Strengths Profile. And so for the free version, you would get your top 3 strengths. And then when you click the link and you follow the NoFlow guide, I will have another resource that's linked that is scientifically backed. It gives you all sorts of goodies. So go ahead and click that link and you can get that assessment as well. But once you get the assessments and once you get the feedback from family members, I want you to sit with it and look at the list and identify and list your top 5. And then think of key phrases, or if you've taken the assessment, go ahead and highlight key phrases that really, really resonate with you. And that's going to be your strength and how you actually show up using that strength. The whole idea here is that you're going to know your strengths, but then you're also going to own them. They are yours, and no one else can take these strengths away from you. So now that you know your strength, the next thing to do is to be in the flow. So know and flow. Think back to when you were a kid. You naturally did things that you were pretty good at. And when you were a kid and you were doing things that you loved to do and you were naturally good at, you lost track of time. Now, kids really don't have a sense of time at any moment, but you definitely lost track of time when you were doing things that you love. And so we're going to get back to that. Just because you're an adult now does not mean that you can't step back into that flow, step back into those moments where you lose track of time. So I want you to think about that. When have you been in the flow? What roles or responsibilities in your personal life or in your professional life allowed you to shine? How are you showing up in that moment? What were you doing? Who are you doing it with? Who is around you? And as you reflect here, I want you to bring as much clarity as possible. The reason why is because this then becomes your zone and your community of genius, because what you do and who you do it with are important. We want to get you back into the flow. The final thing, so you know, flow, and now we've got to grow. So we want to grow the amount of time that you are actually in the flow. And so determine ways that you can actually boost your strengths and live in your zone of genius. One way that I suggest for you is to start each day in your strength. So if your strength is, if you're a learner, if it's intellection, then spend 20 minutes, heck, spend 5 minutes actually embracing that strength. Go ahead and read an article or sign up for an online course. And, it's self-paced. So, start taking some of the classes, in the morning and doing some of the work, for 5 or 20 minutes. Get in your zone of genius at the beginning of your day. Another way to grow your strengths again is by those top 5 that I said you were going to write down. Go ahead, put them on a sticky note, put them on your computer, put it in your workstation, put it on the screen of on your phone so that you are reminded what your zone of genius is. And the thing is that when you find yourself thinking about your weaknesses, I want you to move back to thinking about your strengths, because when you operate in your strengths, you're actually moving the needle, you're having greater success, you're having more joy, and you're more productive, but again, with ease. So let's go back and check on our sisters to see what happened after they focused on their strengths, got hyped up, and remembered their it factor. So Sis, who was afraid to ask for a raise, she ended up asking for a 25% raise. She got 20, not 25%, but she got 20, which is way more than she was going to get by keeping her mouth shut. Sis, who was defeated before even presenting to the VPs, she remembered her strengths, she led with them, she even visualized a different scenario where she was rocking it, and she since nailed every presentation since. In fact, she's been asked to lead another group within the company because the leadership noticed her shine. The Sis who had a notebook full of amazing business ideas, she actually launched her website, and her first product is going to hit the market in Q1 of 2023. Sis, who considered ditching her consulting practice, instead magnified her strengths. And by March of this year, so earlier this year in March, she had a client and a revenue pipeline confirmed that was going to take her through June of 2023. So see, Sis, stop following weak-ass advice by focusing so much of your time and your energy on your weaknesses. That is no longer your burden. I want you to come back to you. Come back to your light. Come back to your it factor. Know, flow, and grow your strengths, because you deserve a life of joy and you deserve a life of ease. And living out your strengths, living within your zone of genius is going to do that. So let's keep this momentum going. Again, click that link, download the No Flow Grow chart so that you can start reflecting on what makes you tick on your strengths, and let's get it going. Also, the assessments that I mentioned are going to be linked in that document. Again, follow me on IG and share what are the top 3 strengths that you have. And then if this really spoke to you and you're ready to release the burden of weaknesses, if you need a hype woman or an accountability partner in your corner, then reach out to me and we can establish a coaching relationship with you or with your team. And since I'm an executive coach, I'm gonna encourage you to have your job pay for it. Now we got to go out of here in style. And so my girl Lizzo, she would say that your strengths are your light, your it factor, that it's really your juice. So let's get after it then. And if the haters are going to hate, because they might, then you can just blame it on your juice.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, don't say it cause I know I'm cute. Oh, baby. Louis down to my drawers, LV all on my shoes. Oh, baby. I be dripping so much sauce, got a bit looking like Grey Goose. Oh, baby. Lit up like a crystal ball, that's cool, baby, so is you, that's how I roll. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. Yeah, I'm gold. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. Now you know. I like shouting, make it better over time. Now you know. Just say I'm not the baddest bitch you like. It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice.
Hey, y'all clap it up, give the heart. How are you today, Shannon?
I'm great, Casey. I am great. All the love and the energy in the chat. It just is like, this is the best way. I wish I could start my day like this every day. Yesterday was awesome. Yes. So
thank you so much for pouring into us. I can see the educators rooting hard. They're like, she home team. She one of us. So I'm going to get right to the question, Shannon, so that folks have time to hear from you, because we have 3 minutes until the top of the next one. So I'm going to put Winnie's question on stage first. She says, if I've spent a lifetime masking from my family and friends, do you think they'll still accurately identify my strengths?
Woo, that's That is deep. Yes, because I do think that within your circle, there is at least one person who you authentically know or who authentically knows you. Go to that person. Anyone who you've had to wear a mask as protection, because the masks are there to protect us, don't necessarily reach out to those folks, but reach out to the one you can be authentic with.
Love it. Okay, keeping it rolling. This one is from Chrissy. She asks, how do you navigate shifts in relationships when one moves from the space of following weak ass advice to walking in their strengths?
Like I said, the hater's gonna hate. And when you step into the light, like no matter what, relationships will shift. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable and let those relationships that need to go, let them go. Like they are not serving you. And so let them go. If they can't be there when you're in your light, then they can't be there.
I have chills. You said when you walk into your life, relationships are gonna shift.
Yes.
Do it anyway. Oh, that's good. Okay, last question. Thank you. Ashay says, I needed that. This is from Tiffany Brown. And she says, my weakness is definitely overcompensating. How do you deal with setting boundaries?
Yeah, and I feel like as weak women, or sorry, as weak women, no, we are not weak. We are strong. As Black women, we definitely tend to overcompensate. What was the second part of that question, Casey?
Let me put it back on. Oh, I can't. Okay. How do you deal with setting boundaries?
Yeah. Knowing what your boundaries are, being clear of this is a boundary for me and I'm not going to, allow others to step into them. So you need to get clear yourself as to what your boundaries are and then uphold them. Let folks know.
Ashay, let me tell you something, sis. And that was an amazing rapid fire. I'm very impressed that you did all three just now. No more questions in the Q&A. I needed everything you gave and that cherry on top with what you just said. I lost some of my longest relationships this year, and it started last year, but I needed to hear that because I'm actually better than I've ever been. So thank you for pointing to me.
Because you are shining. You are shining. It's okay.
I love you.
I love you too, Casey. Thank you so much. Thank you, y'all, for joining, and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Ashay, thank you, Mama. All right, y'all. We are now going into a workshop. Get your pens and your papers ready because workshops are always methodical, step-by-step approaches to things. This is coming from Anika Leonard, and it is called Are We Comfortable? I'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Yeah, we comfort able. First, we